What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Kenny, the Sports Guy, and today we're talking about greatness on the table. When we think about dominant champions, we talk about precision, mental toughness, speed, discipline, and today's guest embodies all of that. She's a four-time national table tennis champion, an entrepreneur, and the founder of Spin and Learn. But this isn't just about medals. This is about resilience. It's about growing the sport. It's about leadership and it's all about building something bigger than yourself. Please welcome Yasaris Ortiz. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Yasaris.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kenny, and your show, for giving me this really warm and beautiful welcome.
Yasaris, first of all, welcome to Kennedy Sports Guys podcast. When people hear four-time national champion, that sounds elite. Take me back. When did table tennis become serious for you?
Um, Table tennis became serious to me when I participated in my first tournament. That was back when I was 9 years old. So I
Hmm.
started to play when I was eight. My first sport was track and field, and my cousin, she used to play table tennis, so I used to see her all the time training. But one day I just went to see her and wanted to try the sport. And after my first tournament is when I fall in love with it. So I'm from a small town um, in the Dominican Republic called
Hey.
Bayaguana. And then, we went from Bayaguana to Santo Domingo, the big
Hmm.
city, and my tournament was there. Like it was for me, like so new for me. Like, oh my God, I'm going to a new city. I saw all of these different players and athletes from different parts of the country with wearing like their uniforms, playing with such a passion, and like the coaches as well, helping their players and leading them and things like that. So for me, that's when I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." It was a really nice environment for me, and that's when I decided that I wanted to play table tennis for my whole life. Yes.
At what moment did you realize you could compete nationally?
Yes. Okay, that's a great question. It was when I went to my first international tournament at the age of 12. I qualified to go to the Caribbean Championships in Puerto Rico. So
Hmm.
for me, just on knowing that, like at that point, oh my God, like you can actually travel, like doing sports and like the sport that you love. So for me, that was like huge. I never knew at that point that I was gonna, be on a plane or anything like that. So that was like one of my first indicators to know that I was gonna be a professional athlete player and I was gonna be representing my country in many, many international tournaments.
What separates a national champion from a very good player?
What was the question? What?
What separates a national champion from a very good player?
Okay, I would say is the responsibility and the commitment that you have from the time that you become like part of the national team. You have to have schedules when it comes to trainings. You have to like be committed to that. It involves a lot of things, training on the table, which is gonna be like the technical training, physical as well. So many people might think that table tennis is just like standing on the table, just hitting the ball, but it's actually the opposite. You
If
do
only it was that easy.
Yes, it's not that easy as people think. And it's like a very active sport. You need to be physically like in shape. So endurance, agility, flexibility, reaction reflexes, all of that has to be trained. So, and also the mental aspect of it, of the game. So all of this brings into, your preparation as being part of the national team, plus communication with your team. In table tennis, you have multiple events, such as like singles, but also you have doubles, mixed doubles, and teams, which, that changes the whole dynamic of a completely individual sport, where now you have to, believe it or not, create and build relationships with your teammates.
Mm.
And, and all of that take practice, training, and commitment and responsibility. being part of the national team. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned training. What does your training routine look like at the championship level?
Yes. So for me, first of all, a lot of balance when it comes to and respect for that time when it comes to like, having a normal life, working as well, and staying committed to my training. So a lot of that has to do with having a specific gym routines, a specific also schedule for training at the table. Depending on the season is gonna, that's gonna depend on the type of the training that we do. If it's like post season, like pre as well, or during the season, everything is gonna change when it comes to that. So there's a lot of like variation in dynamic in regards of the training. Other things that are part of my preparation is playing tournaments that this can be like local tournaments here in New York, New Jersey, like going to like Princeton or different parts of the city like Queens or Pleasantville in Westchester to stay active, right? So a great part of like what we need as athletes is the combination of both things, which is okay, training, but then you also need to compete. Like actively competing and play matches helps you develop like your entire game strategy and everything else.
Did you ever doubt yourself during your rise in table tennis?
Yes, especially when I was younger. I was around maybe like 14, 15 years old. I doubted a lot of my skills. Um, and it was a tough moment for me. I even thought of like retiring completely from the sport. I think at that point was a lot of frustration, especially when you have like so many years of like training and staying focused and you don't see the results that you are expecting, the results that you want. So maybe at that age, we are not, like that patient at all or understand like the situation or understand that, great things actually take time. So for me, that was like really frustrating moment where, I even called my mom a couple of times that I wanted to go back home. I didn't want to continue playing. So for me, it was also a moment where I growed a lot, especially because it was like an obstacle that I have to overcome myself and my mind. So all of those things of like, okay, when things get hard, it's a good moment for us to grow.
Hmm.
I think then that mindset, I actually apply that to everything else in my life. So I think it was like a very difficult moment, but I'm really grateful that I had that moment in my life because now I'm able to inspire and help other people know and understand that it's okay to face challenges and obstacles. Yeah.
I feel like table tennis doesn't get enough credit for how fast and strategic it is. The reaction time alone is absolutely insane, and usually every time I watch a table tennis match, it's like so fast paced. It's like really ridiculous at how fast everything is. So, how do you stay mentally sharp during long tournaments?
Yes, that's it. Is good. So I will say, definitely being in like my zone, and focus at that point, especially that, we all have a life besides like being a professional athlete, being on the table, being in a tournament. So trying to leave things in place before going into like the competition mode is super important to me, especially for me, leading and like having a company, having a team, and having like that kind of responsibility where like, okay, you have to make sure your coaches and your team are delivering like great, programs in schools and things like that. So for me, those are things that I have to leave in place to fully focus and prepare my mind to um go into the competition mode. So a lot of that preparation has to do with like I have psychologists who help me, with like weekly or bi-weekly sessions. And, putting into practice what I learned through those sessions has been like extremely helpful. Getting to know myself, my routines, my rituals, as an athlete has also helped me know. like what does my behaviors look like when I'm actually playing, and what can actually bring me to that focus and flow of stay where I'm completely just focused on the match and the important thing that matter at that point, which is every point. So that's how more or less like I prepare for those situations. Hmm.
Who were your biggest influences in the sport?
For me, it was watching a lot of professional athletes like world champions and Olympic champions at that point. Like I always admire and I imagine like everyone in table tennis love how like Chinese players dedicate their lives and add so much effort, to their training, their dedication to the sport, their discipline. And that's very like inspiring at all times of on like how they're able to just perform in a specific tournament, um, and you're gonna see the results coming. But that comes from the day-to-day training. I think that's one of my takeaways that I have learned from like past years of like, okay, you definitely gonna um, earn anything you actually, worked for during that stage of preparing, training, and things like that. I think for me also, I looked into players that were like from the Dominican Republic that has performed like or played from like years before I came into the team. So I will always look for those like reference videos, how people will talk about their results and achievements and how they actually prepare for them. Like we are, Dominicans are normally like, oh, we are fighters. Like we
That's
fight for
true.
every point, like we fight in like all sports, baseball, no matter what sport it is, baseball, volleyball, track and field, like any sports, we're gonna give it all. So I think like cultivating and learning that mindset from previous players and professional athletes was like and also like an inspiration for me.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Dominican part. Since I'm Dominican, I'm all to know about all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so how do you handle pressure when everyone expects you to win?
Mm. I will say something I learned was focusing not so much in the result, but in the performance. And I think that will bring automatically like the result that you really, are supposed to have, but always like fighting at all times. But pressure is something that is not so easy to handle.
Hmm.
Uh, it's like, every athlete should know this, and we all go through these things. And I will give you an example. So just for the people that are like, they are not athlete, the kind of pressure that I can relate to this type of pressure is actually like standing in front of people to do like a speech or
Hmm.
something. So like public speaking is that kind of like fear of like, oh my God, I have to like stand in front of everyone and perform. But I think like when you become familiar with the sport, the community and everything, it becomes like more normal.
Hmm.
So that is something that is definitely learned through practice and consistently, being there, feeling better. I remember like when I first started to play international tournaments, I will get like super tense, very unfocused, very like scared to do everything I did in my training into the actual match. So, but now you learn as you keep competing, you learn how to handle that pressure, how to turn that fear into confidence,
Mm.
or learn how to like what can I do to actually help me feel more comfortable in this like a specific match. So those are things that you keep learning as you go and compete. Like tournaments is what definitely gives you that expertise, I would say.
Now, this is where it gets powerful. You didn't just win, you are currently building something. You created spin and learn. That's basically legacy to me. So the question I have for you is, what inspired you to launch Spin and Learn?
Yes. So when I first came to live in New York in 2016, I didn't know what to do. I also, that was a second moment in my life where I thought like, oh, my table tennis career has come to an end. I don't know how is it gonna look like, if I'm gonna be able to continue playing. So I will have all of these, thoughts in my mind and like battle with myself. And what I did was at that point was like I didn't have any friends yet. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna visit some, different clubs around the city and see what I find. So just like that, I found like people are in the community, in the table tennis community, and didn't know me, but we got to know each other. And then a few of them, Dominican fellows too, help me and guide me of like, oh, you can go to this club if you're gonna play tournaments, if you wanna continue training. And then in one of those events, so my first job, unofficial job here was actually providing and giving like private lessons to people. I was introduced to coaching. For me, like coaching, I can be a coach as well in table tennis. For me, that was also new. So it was like a new whole experience that I was having. In one of those events, I met a principal of a school, and he actually saw me playing. He was very inspired by my story and how I got to New York and all of that. And he was like, "Hey, can you come to my school and do an exhibition for my kids?" And that school was in the South Bronx.
Hmm.
And that's how basically everything started. So I started working as the after school instructor in that school. And my inspiration for Spin and Learn came because every time, you know, like the school will have other sports like basketball, for example, and other kids from other schools around that same district will come to PS1, to that school where I was teaching, to play leagues. So I was like, wow, they will come like with their uniforms, with their book bags and things, like representing their school. So I took back like that memory of when I started, and I was like, wait a minute, we actually do this in table tennis as well, where from each city, like you go and you play tournaments representing, your town, your city, and things like that, and your
Hmm.
country as well. So that was actually was like, wait, I would love to see tournaments within the different schools, different districts in table tennis. So everything came from there, where um, Spin and Learn is now an organization where we provide and teach and specialize in teaching table tennis to students. And the word learn, actually the word spin comes from spinning the ball, which is a table tennis term. And learn comes because I'm a really big fan of like academics in general, education as well. So for me, being in like a school environment, I don't just want to inspire students to like fall in love with table tennis, but I want to provide them and give them a path to their academic success, their education through the sport. Like the same way that it helped me to, graduate from college, do great in school, apply the discipline that I learned in sport in my education, I want to transfer that as well. And, that's where the name Spin and Learn comes from.
Wow, that was quite an explanation. I really like that actually.
Mhm.
So, did your experience as champion help you when you first started out Spin and Learn?
If my experience?
Yeah, your experience as champion helped you in business.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Like 100%. Especially that, I'm coming in a environment, and I will say industry that I know like very, very well, which is like, okay, I know. And I actually had this like first few years of teaching gave me the experience to get to know and test and prove like what are the things that work best when you're teaching kids, specifically like in these like school environments. So for me, it was an advantage, and I
Hmm.
also enjoyed it. I didn't feel, and I still don't feel that I work, but I just enjoy every single day of what I do because it's still my passion in table tennis. So definitely 100% felt and it still feel really comfortable in the industry. And my experience as a player keeps helping me, make really big improvements to the organization, like our lesson plans, our curriculums, like what we teach, the results, and the amazing things that we want to bring to our participants.
What was your biggest risk starting Spin and Learn?
Yeah, so for sure being new when it comes to like being a business owner, which is very different to being an athlete. So for me, it was like learning as I was building it, very important to me. But I faced, a lot of challenges, such as, first of all, like creating and incorporating like a company. Those were things and terms and like experiences that I didn't have. So my solution was like just, seek for help, assist, or, take advantage of these public and resources in like for like small businesses, for example. Those were things that helped me a lot. Um, but every day I feel that being a small business entrepreneur, you face challenges and you keep like building the puzzle or fixing things are like as like days goes on, right? So
Yeah.
the improvement goes like this, you keep growing, but like every single day it's like, oh my God, what do we have today? Like again, like solving things. So it's like a game, I will say, that keeps me busy, keeps me thinking every single day of, and keeps me actually inspired because I'm actively thinking like, how can I improve this like system that we currently have? How can we recruit and train better coaches? All of these things I have learned and I keep training and practicing throughout my journey as an entrepreneur.
So we're going to talk about your leadership and representation. You're not just building courts, or in this case, tables. You're building opportunities. So the question I have for you is, what does representation mean to you in sports leadership?
I feel very proud of the work that I have been doing and my passion for it, especially working for and with my community. Especially, I started like in the Bronx, and that's when I realized kind of like the lack of resources, lack of opportunities, the lack of sports in the area. And for me, that was something that I completely like right away felt connected to that community. So everything that I have been doing has been to, bring those opportunities to my people. And, um, hopefully like later, we can expand to like other boroughs, other countries, other cities and things like that. But for me, like what I enjoy the most is like making sure that these type of opportunities in sports are not just like meant to be for any specific community, but for everybody else. Like, so I'm always promoting everything I do, the sport, and I'm leading with this mindset of, table tennis is for everyone, no matter your background, your age, no matter like your physical, or athletic abilities. So these are things that I constantly, enjoy sharing with people, and they just love it. And it has been, working great when it comes to the diversity of people and, the connections that we do and the alignment of our vision with our current community that we serve. Yeah.
How do you empower the next generation of girls in table tennis?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And for me, I will say that um ensuring that inspiring girls into the aspect of like girls can also do sports and they can become great athletes. They can
Of
become
course.
champions. So it will be like instilling that belief in like girls and like, the education part. Like for me, for example, since I was a child, I had the opportunity to join like and get to know about sports through schools. For example, I had like a really nice PE physical education teacher and we will go outside every single day, but they will do like these trips for us, like to get to know all other sports. So for me, it's like creating more awareness of like, hey, girls can also do this. You guys can be strong. You guys can do sports, any sport, and for them more mostly like for them to believe in themselves, finding their passion and empowering girls into any other areas that, might be like male dominated. One example that I have of that is going to college here, especially when I first like I was like a transfer student, so I started in accounting, for instance, and I was like, okay, accounting is good, but like, no, I want something like more difficult. I think I brought that mindset from like being an athlete of like, I want something harder. So I went for like computer science. I went for computer science, and then when I went to my first class in computer science, I was the only girl. And I was like, this is the room where I'm supposed to be and where I really want to be. So for me, already like in that environment was normal for me. Like I love it. And it was challenging for me. I know I was gonna grow. And this is the kind of experiences and things that I want to share with more girls for them to believe in themselves as well.
What advice will you give young athletes who want to transition into entrepreneurship?
Yes. So the first advice that I will give is definitely getting to know like what's your why, your passion, right? What do you wanna get into business? What do you wanna be an entrepreneur? What do you want to bring to the world that even if it exists, I feel like everyone brings its own um solution to the world if it's like a product, if it's a service. So for me it's like getting to know themselves better and like reflecting on what they really want is something that can help them a lot in that first like stage, which is like the foundation of it. And after that will be like a lot of discipline and focus. I think uh doing like small improvements every day into like what you want to accomplish and achieve as an entrepreneur is very important. And the
Mhm.
main reason why I say that is because you are going to encounter a lot of distractions. A lot of things every day are gonna pile up and they are gonna come to your, table, emails, calls, these a lot of distractions. And then it's up to you to actually have that like leader and entrepreneurship mindset of like, okay, this is what I need to focus on at this moment, and I'm gonna finish this by this day, or setting deadlines and things like that. So that will be my advice for, yeah, people that are we're athletes and want to transfer to entrepreneurship. So just putting that discipline that they learn in sport into business. Yeah.
So this is the rapid fire segment of my show. It's meant to be fun, so are you ready?
Let's see, let's go.
Hardest serve to return.
How you serve to return.
Hardest serve to return.
Oh, return.
Yeah, return, yes.
Yeah. So you mean like what can you repeat the question, please?
Hardest serve to return.
If it's harder to serve than to return,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So definitely return in table tennis. And yeah, returning is so much harder. I can tell you why. Um, when you're serving, you can control the type of serves that you're gonna do. You can actually practice this any type of side spin, and you are the one actually that is have the control at that moment and at that point of like, okay, this is the serve that I'm gonna do, and I have an expectation or anticipation of how the ball is gonna come to me.
Hmm.
Versus when you're returning, you are in that position of like, oh my God, I don't know how the ball is gonna come to me. I'm super scared. I'm like, I don't know if this person is gonna come with this weird like side spin or top spin serve. And that actually answered my question there, where you don't have that much control when you're like returning versus when you
Favorite
serve.
favorite paddle brand.
Stiga.
Singles or doubles?
Doubles.
Morning training or night training?
Morning training.
If not table tennis, what sport?
Track and field.
Dream match against anyone in history.
Liu Shiwen is a Chinese champion who actually retired, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play here.
So the final question I have for you is, when your career is all said and done, what do your oh, no, I'm so sorry. What do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy will be leaving the a table tennis academy in the Bronx, which is gonna be like our house. And this table tennis academy or center is going to welcome all national and international players from all over the world, providing opportunities to kids from our community, especially kids that are coming from schools, and providing all of these life values, life skills opportunities. I wanted to be a community hub, and in the future, I wanted to be just known for advocating for table tennis and sports in general for the entire world. Like, not just like table tennis, but it's just in general the benefits of staying fit, wellness, staying like physically active, and how all of these activities bring, positive things to our mind, our body, our soul, and everybody else around us as well.
Well, this is what Kenny and Sports Guy is all about. Champions who don't stop at winning, athletes who build ecosystems, leaders who create access. Yasaris Ortiz isn't just a four-time national champion. She's redefining how America experiences table tennis. And to me, that's powerful. Yasaris, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kenny. It was such a pleasure and great to be at your show.
Definitely. Well, this is Kennedy Sports Guys podcast signing out. You can find this episode on my social media pages, Twitter at Kenny_sports, Instagram at Kenny Sports Guy 1, and TikTok at Kenny Sports Podcast. And this episode is going to be available in all streaming platforms. Until the next episode, see ya, and I hope you stay safe and healthy.